A warm greetings to everyone. Agriculture Makers in Mission IBPS AFO welcomes you to this video. And in this video, we are going to see the NABARD bankable project on intensive fish culture, and it is one of the interesting topics to study. And come on, let's get into the video. Firstly, it is the introduction. Fish is the cheapest and most easily digestible animal protein. And was obtained from natural sources from a long ago. However, due to overexploitation and pollution, the availability of fish in natural waters have been declined, and fish farming in controlled or under artificial conditions has become the easier way of increasing the fish production. And farmers can easily take up the fish culture in village ponds, tanks, new water bodies, etc. And it also creates a gainful employment for skilled and unskilled youths. The technology developed for fish culture, in which more than one variety of compatible fishes are cultured simultaneously, is said to be composite fish culture. And this technology enables to get maximum fish production. And also, any perennial fish pond or tanks retaining a water depth of 1.5 to 2 meters can be used for fish culture, and the minimum level of water should not fall below 1 meter. And keep in mind, 1.5 to 2 meter is sufficient for fish culture, and the depth of water should not fall below 1 meter. And seasonal ponds can also be used for short duration fish culture. And next to this, fish species involved in intensive fish culture. Depending on the compatibility and type of feeding habit, Katla and Rohu have been identified and recommended under intensive fish culture. And in the project, Katla and Rohu are said to be identified for intensive fish culture. Okay, we can see their growing habit. Katla is a zooplankton feeder, and it is said to be surface feeder in nature, whereas Rohu is said to be omnivorous and column feeder in nature. Okay. Coming to the technical parameter, selection of pond is the important criteria for fish culture. The soil in the selected pond should be water retentive with adequate supply of water, and the pond should not be in a flood prone area. Derelict, semi-derelict or swampy ponds can also be renovated for fish culture by dewatering, desilting, repair of the embankments, and provision of inlet and outlet. And the eligible items of pond development are desilting of the existing ponds, deepening of shallow ponds, excavation of new ponds, impoundment of marginal areas of water bodies, repair or construction of embankments, construction of inlets and outlets, any other items like civil structures, watchman huts, water supply arrangements, and also any other thing should be built depending upon the requirement of the project. And nextly, coming to the pond management plays an important role in fish farming before and after stocking of fish. Various measures that are required to be undertaken in pre and post stocking practices are tabulated below. Firstly, coming to the pre-stocking, in case of new ponds, pre-stocking should start with liming and filling the pond with water. Remember, firstly we have to do liming and then we have to fill the pond with water. However, first step for the existing pond requiring development deals with clearing the pond of unwanted weeds and fish either by manual, mechanical or chemical means. And the methods includes: Firstly, removal of weeds by manual, mechanical, or through chemical means. And nextly, removal of unwanted and predatory fishes either by netting or using mahua oil cake at a rate of 2500 kg per hectare. And this is asked in 2019-20 AFO mains examination. And then next, coming to liming, the tanks which are acidic in nature is said to be less productive than alkaline, which means that in case of crop farming, slightly acidic is said to be good for crop development, but in case of this intensive fish culture, alkaline ponds are more productive than acidic ponds. So we have to maintain the pH at slightly alkaline level. To keep the pond alkaline, liming is said to be important. In addition to that, lime has the following effects, including it increases the pH, acts as a buffer and avoids fluctuations of pH. It increases the resistance of soil to parasites, and also its toxic effect kills the parasite, and then it also hastens the organic decomposition. Normal doses of lime desired ranges from 200 to 250 kgs per hectare, but the actual dose has to be calculated based on the pH of the soil and the water. This tabular column is very much important for our exam. In this tabular column, pH and the recommended lime dose is given. If the pH is said to be 4.5 to 5, the lime requirement is 2000 kg per hectare. Likewise, if the pH is 5.1 to 6.5 means lime is 1000 kg per hectare, and if 6.6 to 7.5 means it is 500 kg, 7.6 to 8.5 means it is 200 kg, and if the pH is said to be 8.6 to 9.5 means there is no need for lime. Okay. The pond is required to be filled with rainwater or even water from other sources after liming in case of it is a new pond. Okay. Next, coming to fertilization. Fertilization of pond is an important means of intensifying the fish culture by increasing the natural productivity. A combination of both organic and inorganic fertilizers may be used for best results. Coming to the inorganic fertilizer application, the inorganic fertilizer application is based on the soil fertility status, and if the nitrogen content is said to be high, that is, if the soil contains 51 to 75 milligram per 100 gram of soil means the fertilizer we have to apply is, in case of ammonium sulfate, it is 70 kg per hectare per month, or in case of urea, it is 30 kg per hectare per month. Likewise, if the soil fertility status is medium, that is, if the soil contains 26 to 50 mg per 100 gram of soil means the fertilizer need is 90 kg per hectare per month of ammonium sulfate, or in case of urea, it is 40 kg per hectare per month. If the soil fertility status is low means the ammonium sulfate requirement is 140 kg per hectare per month. In case of urea, it is 60 kg per hectare per month. Likewise, in case of phosphorus, if it is high means SSP requirement is 40 kg per hectare, and TSP it is 15 kg per hectare per month. In case of medium fertility soil means it is 50 kg per hectare per month of SSP and 20 kg per hectare per month of TSP. If it is low, that is up to only 3 milligram per 100 gram of soil means it is 70 kg per hectare SSP and then 30 kg per hectare TSP. Okay. And coming to stocking, the pond will be ready for stocking after 15 days of application of fertilizers. Remember, it is 15 days after fertilization. Fish fingerlings of 250 gram weight approximately is used for stocking at the rate of 6250 numbers per hectare. Okay. And coming to the species combination ratio, for Katla the numbers is 500 and for Rohu it is 5750. Okay. Coming to the post-stocking practices, it is firstly the supplementary feeding. Fishes need much more food than what is available naturally, so we have to feed it once in. The feed should be placed on a bamboo tray and lower to the pond bottom, or it can be broadcasted at the corners. After some time, the fish will get used to this type of feeding and aggregate at the same place at the particular time. Okay. Yes, supplementary feeding includes totally 100 percentage should be contributed by rice bran at a rate of 80 percentage, groundnut oil cake it is 10 percentage, and then cotton seed cake it is 10 percentage. Okay, this 80 percentage should be 9600 kgs of rice bran, and this 10 percentage each of groundnut oil cake and cotton seed oil cake corresponds to 1200 kg each of both, so that it totals to about 12,000 kgs per hectare. Keep all those calculations and numbers in mind. And next to this, coming to manuring, organic manuring may be done at monthly installments at a rate of 1000 kg per hectare. Inorganic fertilizations may be done at monthly intervals alternating with organic manuring. Remember, you have to alternate with organic manuring. However, monthly rate of fertilization will depend on pond productivity and growth of the fishes. It should be ensured that excess fertilization does not take place, which results in eutrophication, that is nitrogen enrichment, which leads to algal bloom, which reduces the dissolved oxygen in the pond, which leads to death of fishes. Okay, remember, excess fertilization leads to eutrophication. And coming to the harvesting, harvesting is generally done at the end of 6 months when the fishes attain the average weight of 1 to 1.5 kg. A production of 5 to 6 tons per hectare can be obtained in a year. However, for the purpose of working out economics, they have used 5 tons per hectare productivity. We can harvest by partial dewatering or repeated netting. In some cases, complete dewatering can also be done. And with this harvesting, the video ends. I hope the video will be very much useful to you, and keep on watching our channel and do subscribe our channel, and thank you for all your cooperations.